How's it going, guys? Alex here. Welcome back to another Dokkan Battle video, and today I'm going to be damage testing Super Vegito and Vegito Blue, just basically comparing like their damage stats and how hard they can hit in comparison to each other. But as always, I hope you guys are having a great day, and if you do enjoy today's video, consider leaving a like and subscribing if you are new. So of course, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is on the global version of the game, but Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks isn't. So to keep things fair, I am going to be using the 70% lead, and to keep a basically to keep track of how things are going, I'm going to be writing it down on my little notepad, which you guys can't see, which is something that I didn't do in the past, but it's just going to be so much more convenient when it comes to showing which one actually hits. I would imagine that the majority of you guys are going to be paying attention anyway, but just in case, I am going to be writing it down. And I wasn't initially going to start off with Vegito Blue, but because, of course, Broly threads are kind of hard to find, this is okay, never mind, this isn't the team I'm going with. Let's quickly move over to the team that I'm actually using. So of course we have Super Vegito at 100% in the potential system, and we also have Vegito Blue, which is 100% in the potential system as well. And I'm going to try out different scenarios, basically just Vegito Blue with his main attack links active, and then a different scenario where I'm going to have a support unit in play as well. That is going to give him a 25% attack and defensive boost. More like, okay, again, just focusing more on the attack because the Gohan here does the exact same thing, and because they haven't released the 40% support unit, there's just like no point in doing that particular scenario because I don't even own that unit in particular. So of course you do have to take into account that Super Vegito doesn't have the luxury of super attacking multiple times like Vegito Blue, of course, so I'm definitely going to be taking that into account. And then you have the counters as well, so there are multiple situations where one could hit harder than the other. It comes down to whether or not they can get a crit with, you know, the counter mechanic. Just so many things come into play, and we don't even have the Super Vegito in the first rotation. So let's just go with this to start things off. Doesn't really matter too much. And I've never actually pulled a Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta on either version of the game, and to be honest, I think that's one of the main reasons why I don't really use Vegeta. I've never really been a big fan of him. I did prefer him upon his release, but then as things went on, I'm just like, yeah, I kind of just prefer Super Saiyan 4 Goku. And it's pretty obvious that as the months went on, that Goku was just simply the superior unit because of what he could do. He has one of the best partnerships in the game with the STR Super Saiyan 3 GT Goku, but we are going to have Super Vegito up with Super Saiyan Kaioken, which is basically guaranteed. And going to guarantee that he's going to super attack, and that's going to be the case majority of the time anyway. So let's get started with a Super Vegito super attack. Of course, like I said earlier, my Vegito Blue and Super Vegito are both maxed in the potential system. So here's done, and to take a quick note of his attack stat. So 413k was his attack stat, and with the crit, he hits for 777k. Okay, so I'm going to take down, just note down the first 3 digits. So that was him with just his attack links active, Super Saiyan, as well as the Fierce Battle link. Now we have Super Saiyan Rose, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, and the Gohan, of course. And you have to keep in mind, actually, it doesn't really matter this one. I was about to say that Vegito Blue does have that additional Kamehameha link, which is going to be providing him with a 2000 attack boost, I believe. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Vegito Blue also has a higher attack stat. And I'm going to say keep in mind a lot. These guys don't actually get an attack boost from their passives at all. It mostly comes down to their 12 key multipliers, their attack stats, and the fact that they have a decent amount of potential system buffs, of course. So that is one of the main reasons why they can hit so hard. So of course, now the boost from the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is active, attack link's active as well. And of course, the other scenario that I'm going to be trying out is just the boost from a support unit. So to note down his attack stat in a few moments, and I think I'm going to like put aside the counters because without a doubt the counters are going to hit hard consistently. So 516k and a crit as well. Okay, no crit there. So 516k, the only real 651,000 from a counter. That is how ridiculous they are. And that, honestly, that counter mechanic is just so broken. It's, oh wait there. That counter mechanic is just such a broken thing. It's probably the best mechanic in the game to this day, and it's honestly the main reason why he is still so relevant. That's how good that mechanic actually is. That mechanic alone allows him to still be one of the best units in the game. And I don't know how many potential system buffs this Vegito in particular has. I don't think he has too many in comparison to my other one. But again, we are just focusing on my one in particular. Otherwise, it's just going to be unfair, and we have to use the one that we initially wanted to use. Otherwise, the results are just going to be a bit inconsistent. But I would have liked to have gotten a crit with the Vegito, just so that, of course, I can get a better representation of how hard he'd hit with the crit with the boost from the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Maybe I can get that to go off again once I get the support units come back round, because it doesn't matter which support unit I haven't played. The Gohan, well, they're both Gohans. The Super Saiyan Gohan or Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, because they both give the same boost. But one thing that I'm actually going to do here is take into account his overall damage with the counters, as well as, or is that too much? Because I don't, you know what, I'm going to take the counters away from this test overall, just because they're way too inconsistent. Just going to focus completely on the super attack damage. Granted, I know that not a lot of you are going to be happy with that, but it's just so hard to keep track of it because it's so inconsistent when it comes to counters and such, of course. So same attack set as last time. If you could get crit, that would be great. Okay, so 987k, which is what we wanted. So with a crit, 987k. Right, there we go. So it should be on the screen now, and I have to test out one more rotation in particular, which is the Vegito with just the boost from a support unit. So of course his links are going to be active, or some of them at the very least. But this battle won't be active, it's just going to be the boost from the support unit, of course. Right, so let's go to part of the stage. So at the moment we have 2 different scenarios down, I believe, and we've got crit in both situations, so that is a good sign of this test so far. And again, you have to keep into account that with the counters, he is easily going to be one of the hardest hitting units in the game, especially because of how frequently they super attack now and just attack, you know, in general. Vegito is just going to be able to counter so many times, and his overall damage output with crits can easily eclipse 2 million, like without a doubt. They attack that frequently. Of course, I will be going a bit more into that in different videos, which you guys will see in the coming days. Let's go ahead and grab these. So far, I think his damage is just absolutely insane, even when you don't take into account the counters. And of course, as you can see on the screen right now, I'm just going to go over it now actually. So with just the attack links active, his attack stat is 413k, and with a crit he hit for 777,000. And with the attack links active and the boost from a support unit, which was 25%, his attack stat was 516k, and he got a crit for 987k. And I believe those were both on the first stages of these particular events. So first stage of Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, and then of course first stage of Super Saiyan, or Super Saiyan Frieza, Golden Frieza. So to try out the last scenario, and then moving on to Vegito Blue. And this is Super Saiyan active and the boost from the Gohan. Right, here we go. So 450k. Interesting. Very interesting. I didn't actually manage to catch the third digit there, but I'm going to review the footage after, but it was definitely 450k at the very least. I think it was 453k. And there we go. So 453k with the boost from the Gohan active. So you should see everything on the screen right now. I am going to be going over it completely at the end once I've done Vegito Blue, and Goku and Goku coming in with a counter there. Crit there. Right, so now moving on to Vegito Blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now moving on to Vegito Blue, and I want to apologize for my God Coup because he isn't even at Super Attack 10 or Max when it comes to the levels, but that's not the point. He is there for the boost. Well, the 25% attack boost, because the units that I had before, we had the Pan that gave a 30% boost, and then you had Super Saiyan 2 Goku that gave 20%, so it wasn't exactly fair. So now we have the Race Trunks, 25%, and then you have the God Goku that gives 25% as well, which is fair. And we don't have either in... Actually, this isn't bad at all, because now we can try him out with just his attack links active. So let's go ahead and try to get past this rotation as fast as we can. And if Broly could actually do something useful for once, that'd be great. I'm joking. Broly's actually a pretty good unit, especially with the potential system active. That is one of the main reasons why he is an absolutely incredible unit now. And if his battle link is active, so frustrating how the physical God Goku got that fierce battle link, but the others didn't. Well, I'll say the others, the Ent one didn't, at the very least. Which is a bit of a shame, because he could have been a very good unit, but they kind of shafted him. Right, let's get past this rotation then. Right, so there we go. Now we have Vegito Blue, which I'm going to be keeping paired with the Kaioken Goku just because he does activate every single one of his attack links, including Kamehameha. Actually, I think the only link that doesn't activate is Power Bestowed by God, and of course, Warrior Gods isn't here, which would have provided him with an additional beast. He does have the Warrior Gods link before he awakens, but to quickly write this down, so 452k. There we go. And wow, got the crit as well, fair enough. So write this down as well, 858k. And I'm not going to take into account the multiple super attacks just because, like, if I'm not going to take into account the counters, I'm definitely not going to take into account the, you know, the multiple super attacks. And, right, let's grab these. And it's a shame because the counters definitely would make a bit of a difference, but like I said, they are just way too inconsistent to take into account. But if you feel like we should maybe do this again, like in different terms, in a particular way, let me know and I'll try my very best to do so. But I think this is probably the best way to do this, the fairest way. Just looking at their attack stats, doing different scenarios, both 100% in potential system, both on the exact same percentages leads with the exact same support units when it comes to the boost, of course. But now we have Rage Trunks. Is that? No, never mind. I thought I gave him an additional boost for some reason. So this is a 25% attack boost. And the good thing about the multiple super attacks actually is that if one of them isn't a crit, at least the others have a chance to be, right? So hopefully the first super attack will be one. Right, let's start things off with the crit then. Oh, never mind. So super attack, 560k. Crit, no crit. Multiple super attacks? Okay, that's the second one. Crit! Oh, okay then. That's a bit of an interesting one because we are taking on a different stage here. But the thing is, when Super Vegito got a crit against Frieza, that particular stage actually has less defense. So technically Vegito should have hit harder. But let's keep going, let's keep going. Right, this is dumb. Right, let's go over this. And I've already tried out the majority of the scenarios already. Wow, this is much faster than Super Vegito, to be fair. Which is kind of surprising. I expected Vegito Blue to be a bit tougher to do. But so far we've done just attack links, and the boost from a support unit. So now I have to try out Vegito Blue with just a boost from a support unit, which is either going to be the God Goku or the Pan. Oh, not the Pan, the Rage Trunks. Wait, was this the first? Oh, no, that's... Wait, is that the first Broly still? I could actually die here. This could be very bad for me. Oh, I think I'm going to be fine because Goku Black is going to debuff. And again, because he is maxed, he should be able to tank these hits. Yeah, okay, I'm down to like 4k health, but that's not the point. Okay, so finally got the rotation that I wanted. And wow, was it a massive hassle. So, no Fist Battle active, just Super Saiyan. No Kamehameha because otherwise Fist Battle would have to be active. It's just the way it is. So he is missing out on that additional attack link. But this is what we wanted. Just a boost from the support unit as well as some of his attack links active. So here we go. And attack stat is 472k. I believe that was no crit, which is fine because the same happened with Vegito Blue. Super Vegito rather. So that is pretty much it. Going to go down to the overall, you know, numbers, and I will get back to you guys. So one thing that I do want to touch on before I move on to the final results, you have to take into account that Vegito Blue almost has an additional 1000 attack stat, like when it comes to his overall attack stat, of course, and that is going to make a massive difference. And another thing is that he does have the Kamehameha link, pardon me, which provides him with an additional 2500 attack boost. So it's not 2000, it's actually 2500, and of course this does make a bit of a difference. But ultimately it just comes down to the fact that Vegito Blue does have a higher attack stat. So now moving on to the final results, and to start off with Super Vegito, with just his attack links active, his overall attack stat was 413k, and with the crit, if you want to take that into account, he got a 777,000 crit. And if we move on to his attack links active and the boost from a support unit, his attack stat was 516k, and he got a 987,000 crit. And then, of course, with just the boost from a support unit, his attack stat was 453k, no crit, and the same applied for Vegito Blue, of course. But now, if we move on to the overall stats for Vegito Blue, with just the attack links active, Vegito Blue's attack stat was 452k, and with a crit, it was 858k, so of course that was the overall damage. And again, I did the exact same for Super Vegito. And when it comes to the attack links active and the boost from a support unit, Vegito Blue's attack stat was 560k, and with the crit, it was 1.8 million. Not 1.8 million, it was 1.08 million, so 180,000. No, that's not right. 1,080,000. There we go. So of course the overall winner is Vegito Blue, and that's not even taking into account the crits and of course the additional super attacks that Vegito Blue has. And when it comes to the counters, Vegito Blue would hit slightly harder just because his attack stat is going to be a bit higher, because his attack stat is just higher than Vegito Blue's or Super Vegito when it comes to just the card itself. And of course the counters are based on attack stats, and the higher the attack stat, the harder they are going to hit. So when it comes to crits and counters, Vegito Blue would be hitting harder anyway, and of course he does have an advantage when it comes to multiple super attacks. But overall, with just their super attacks, Vegito Blue is the clear winner, and if you were to take into account the other things, Vegito Blue would still win. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy the video as always, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you all in the next one.